Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Yes, we're back for another fascinating conversation with a great guest. I'm David Bell, and I'm here hosting alongside my good friend and fellow host, Professor Alan Barrell, who I'll introduce in a moment. But thank you very much for tuning in and joining us at this lunchtime. It's lunchtime for me and Alan, but I know for some of you, and especially for our guest, the clock is in a slightly different position. So it's good afternoon, maybe good evening, and maybe for some of you, it could be good morning as well. Or maybe you're watching this on catch up. Now, as always with our live shows, you can interact, you can participate, you can go into the chat, you can pop your questions, say hello, say good morning, tell us where you're tuning in from, tell us a little about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And of course, as we go through the next half an hour or so, if you've got any questions for our special guest, then please, or for myself and Alan, of course, then please pop those in the chat and we'll do our best to pick up and answer as many of those questions as possible. But I'm going to hand over to Professor Alan Barrell. Good afternoon, Alan. Lovely to see you again, tuning in from Cambridge. Alan, over to you to kind of really introduce our guest as well this morning.
Well, thank you, David. And hello, everyone. It's great to be with you. And hello, Elina, who I've been talking to for a number of years, not continuously. We do have the odd break, but we talk a lot. And I'm so pleased that we've got Elina with us today because, as most of you will know, or some of you will know, I'm a great fan of Latvia. It's a wonderful small country with people with the biggest ideas in the world. And Elina is Latvian, and she is now professor at Riga Technical University. And she's all about ideas. I mean, she has studied and written about and promoted the idea of ideation and how ideas change the world. And that's been very interesting for me. We've had lots of discussions over time, and we've talked about entrepreneurship. And for me, I keep saying this, entrepreneurship is not just about starting companies, it's about changing the world. And entrepreneurs change the world in different ways. And I don't think that Elina wants to start a company at the moment. She probably never will, but she wants to change the world. And she can do it differently. She can do it through her academic excellence, through her writing, through her publications, through her teaching, and through her mentoring. She's been a mentor on the Cambridge Latvia Venture Camp, which is wonderful. She's been a very, very good mentor. And of course, you can see that Elina is a woman. And she's very, very strong on the role of women in the world and society and in business. She's won awards. You'll have to tell them about the titles you've won in Woman of This and Woman of That. So, you know, she's one of those amazing people that never stops. She writes paper after paper. She gives talk after talk. She inspires people after people. And I'm so pleased that we've got her here today because, Elina, your wonderful enthusiasm and your ability to inspire people deserves a really big platform. And we're giving you a platform today. So there you go. Will you say something to begin with, Elina?
Yes, hello, honorable ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be here and to be with Alan Barrell. He is one of the most inspiring supervisors, gurus, and leaders that I have met in this world. And really, I believe that with ideas, we can change the world. And with diverse ideas, with business ideas, social, environmental ideas, we just need to spot the kind of ideas we love, generate those ideas, and implement them. And then we will make magic.
Good.
So, Elina,
that's great.
Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us and coming along today and being our special guest for the month of October. Elina, tell us a little bit about you. We're going to do a bit of a deep dive in the next half an hour, find out a bit more about you, your journey, but just give us a bit of an overview. What is it that you do? What inspires you? So let's kick off. Let's find out more about Elina and your journey to date.
Yes, I need to be honest. I'm really addicted to innovation and idea management because all my life is connected with this field. So academically, my thesis, doctoral, postdoc, everything is always related with idea management, and especially with web-based solutions, how to generate ideas when we are not in the same room. But on the other hand, I also like to discover new games, ways, systems that we can use also in real life, because I think both versions of idea management are very, very important. That is my academical side. Then professionally, it's my honor to manage RTU Design Factory. So Riga University is like one of the biggest universities in Baltic Technical University. And Design Factory is responsible about student innovations. So we need to support all those students with their crazy ideas. They have thousands of those ideas, but as Design Factory, we help at least 200 ideas per semester to become true. And then also help some enterprises with their idea and innovation processes with small ID fitnesses. So I try to extract ideas out of people, not giving them ideas, because I believe that each of us is the greatest idea creators for ourselves.
Yeah, Elina, you said there, you mentioned the idea factory or whatever you call it. That was something started in Finland in Alia University, wasn't it? And then Riga was probably the first outside Finland university to do it. And it's a great space, isn't it? Where people can go and discuss their ideas, and the ideas don't have to succeed or do anything. They can make things. So just a little bit more about that would be of interest to our people.
Yes, it's true that Design Factory concept come from Aalto University, and we were the one of the first that jumped in that network, and now we are like elderlies of that network and wise ones that could share the knowledge. And in this network, we try to establish new processes, new ways how to extract ideas out of the students and also out of the companies and other people. But also there is this philosophy that we need also a physical place for prototyping and idea generation and innovation magic. So that's the reason why we have this The Lab network. Those are like open laboratories for prototyping. At the moment in Riga University, we have 4 The Labs that are open for all the students from all the faculties. It doesn't matter which faculty they are. They could come to the lab, collaborate with other students, and create the rockets, some kind of crazy things that they love. So that is what Design Factory is doing. And also, we organize diverse events for innovators. For example, at RTU, we have 4 faculties and several institutes. There's great variety of students, and there's not like one right event that could try to that will extract the innovator spirit of those students. That is the reason why we manage a lot of events. So to find the right approach for almost all our students, per year we organize more than 200 events. So every day there is at least one event. Yes, also today there will be 2 events at Design Factory.
That's a lot of work. Amazing. A lot of work happening there. 2 events in a day, a few hundred events a year, certainly keeping you and the team busy. But I want to pick up on a word that you used when you were describing it, collaboration. It's a word that I think can be misused, but it's underused as well. I think there's so much opportunity to partner, to work together, to help each other, to support each other, signpost, connect the dots, as I like to call it. And I think, there's lots of businesses out there, UK and beyond, where people say, well, they're competition to me. I don't want to be talking to them. I just want to know about who they are and what they do so we can do it better. But I always say, no. This is an opportunity for you to collaborate. So talk a little bit about collaboration, how you see that working when you're running these events, the outcomes, maybe a case study or 2. I'm putting you a bit on the spot there, but maybe where you've seen people come together, didn't know each other, and maybe become co-founders or, supporters of each other's ideas and business.
Yes, maybe this is the right moment to tell you a story that 1 year ago we catch this problem that we believe more in competing with each other in innovations, not collaborating with each other. So we came up with a new concept for hackathons, because in hackathons we evaluate who is the best in innovation, in sustainability, or in other criteria. And previously, we noticed that in hackathons, there is a decreasing number of students. There are a lot of sabotages between the teams and so on. And there's lack of collaboration. So we came up with this new term. It's not the new term, but new concept for hackathons. It's competition, like competing while we are collaborating. And last year, we organized such kind of events, hackathons, where we are giving points, not only who is the best, but we are also giving the points who is helping others the most. And what we noticed in 3 competitions, that some students understand that they will not win with their idea. What they start to do, they start to help others to succeed. And end result, can you imagine what kind of prototypes are at the end of the day? Amazing, like it's like next level prototypes. And some good results out of those 3 case studies. Dropout rate for the students is 0. They love to stay in those hackathons for 1 month. Also, these prototype levels, previously we had alpha prototypes, now several of those prototypes in beta level or prototype level. And also how many students we can involve more and more, because they could come as mentors for others or helpers. So those teams not shrink during the period, but they are growing through the period of hackathon. And I think that is a very good sign. Yes.
Yeah, so you've illustrated there a wonderful example of co-opetition opposed to competition. Co-opetition. You see that you might not be able to realize you're not going to be the winner, but you've got something you might offer other people.
Exactly.
That's a very, very, very profound realization, isn't it, David? Really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I say I love the whole collaboration piece, the supporting each other. In the world of business, typically small to medium-sized enterprises, it's very lonely out there. I work with lots of business owners, and having people around you to talk to share stories with, like we're going to do or we are doing today, just to have a conversation about maybe something that's not going quite right, and someone else's knowledge and experience might be able to help you, and vice versa. You hear, someone else has got maybe something a little bit challenging, and you say, well, that happened to me, and this is what I did, and this was the outcome. So having people around you, this collaboration piece, being able to share, is such an important piece. But I know that you're taking it beyond the 4 walls of the academic world, the university, because we spoke just before we went live. You mentioned about the new metaverse that you're creating. Tell us a little bit about this. Some of us will know what the metaverse is, so probably just for the sake of everybody, tell us a little bit about the metaverse, but how you are utilizing it for what you offer.
Yes, that's my next research field that I would like to turn in real innovation that we can practically use. Because previously I researched only web-based idea management systems, how those systems where you can go in a software, write our ideas, share with each other without geographical or time limitations. And then I try to understand what is the next level for idea management, where it all could go. And one of the ideas that came was this metaverse, because I had this wonderful meeting with professionals from Berkeley University, and I mentioned this aspect of metaverse, and they were like, oh, it is interesting. Let's continue our conversations. And then I spotted, okay, then there's something bigger in this idea. And then I dig deeper and deeper academically. I also have created several proposals for projects for that. But the end game for all of that is really to create a metaverse, this virtual environment where we can all gather and generate ideas. Because of course we can generate those together in these web platforms, but they have lack of these physical and intellectual stimulations. Because of course I really love those idea generation sessions in real life, but it is so expensive if you'd like to come in the same room from Kenya, States, and Latvia, somewhere in between in this world. So it is very expensive. So how to deal with that? Metaverse. We can create this virtual environment where we can all jump together from different kind of countries, at least to feel like we are together and get those intellectual stimulations from others. And also, if we are lack, for example, those medium and small enterprises, they are lacking numbers of employees. Sometimes Latvia, those small enterprises, that's just 1-2 personas in the team. So That's like lack of intellectual stimulation for ID generation. So in this metaverse, then we can go together as free employees of one small medium enterprise, and we can add also artificial intelligence agents. So when in the room we will not be like free, we can add 5 more ID generators. Those maybe will not be the real humans, maybe those will be artificial intelligence egos. So there's so many opportunities, I think, for idea management in this metaverse, and it will not limit our creativity. It will really just give us extra approach how to do that.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, let me just add something that happened recently, not exactly in metaverse terms, but what you're talking about is taking ideas and initiatives and innovation and globalizing it. That's part of why we have these discussions. And this year at the Cambridge Latvia Venture Camp, I don't know whether anyone is listening from this company, there was a very small company that has developed a wonderful technique of extracting phosphorus from wastewater and making it into a fertilizer. They're a real company. They've got a patented process. And because we are all engaged together in this, I've been able to introduce them to the National Institute of Agricultural Botany here and other people. And hopefully, because they are exposing their thoughts and ideas in a metaverse way, then we can connect them with people who are powerful and maybe be able to move this whole thing forward. So if we move out of our own territory into a broader context and talk about our ideas and what we're doing and what our ambitions are and even what we hope for, then it does increase the possibility that we can reach other people and that the ideas can be implemented. So that's a very, very exciting area that you're working on.
Yeah, it is an exciting area, and you're doing so much to kind of enable, small businesses, those that are wanting to maybe start their own business and get up and running as well. But what I'm also interested in, maybe kind of asking you a few more bits around, is how you're talking about working with these ideas, and you said, I don't want to give them the ideas. I want to get them to share, to get them to think for themselves. And I think that's the power of kind of mentoring and coaching rather than being an advisor or a consultant. An advisor and consultant will typically say, from my knowledge, from my experience, let's try it. Let's do this. With your permission, we'll work together. But what you're doing is the opposite. You're actually saying, look, I want to kind of get you to come up with it. How can you, for anyone that maybe is a coach or a mentor, how can they get people to think deep and open up and kind of use their own thoughts to come up with these ideas? What techniques could we use, or what techniques do you use? Because I think it's a great opportunity to get people collaborating further.
That's absolutely true, that I'm not a consultant. I'm not giving those ideas when they are even asking them. I try to really extract those ideas from their employees, their clients, and so on. And how? With systematical approach, because there are so many these ID generation methods, how we can get those ideas out of people, and also ID evaluation methods, how to understand which of those many ideas are the best ones. And there are these classical methods that we use maybe daily. Those are like these random stimulus methods, like random word. That's the reason why I have so many books here and also here, because random word is like a first method that we can use to generate ideas. For example, we need to generate new ice cream ideas. So we are lucky in ideas at the moment, but let's see. It means that we have the question first, new ice creams. Then we close our eyes, we open the book in random place, and there is this word, dog is barking. Dog is barking. So what kind of ice cream comes in your mind when you hear the wording dog is barking? David, what kind of ideas comes to your mind for ice creams? Dog is barking.
So this is putting me on the spot. So the ice cream is called dog is barking. I don't know. I'm thinking of maybe a vanilla one with chocolate bits in. That's probably People are thinking, why is David pick
Continuous
chocolate
one,
bits in his
correct.
ice cream? And it's going to have maybe a cherry on top for a red nose for a dog. And well, dogs have big ears and can be fluffy, so maybe some like candy floss on there, but not pink because we need kind of brownish candy floss. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm learning as you do this.
Excellent. And can you imagine if you would spend 15 minutes with this method? It was just the first idea that came in your mind, but when you will write more and more, and when Alan will join the conversation, your ideas will just flourish. And in 15 minutes, for any kind of question, not only for ice cream, but also for new strategies, for process improvements, just define your question, open the random word, and you will see the magic of this very, very simple method. It's like level 1 method that we can use. But of course, there are many more systematical ones, like Scamper method. Those who don't know the Scamper method, just Google it. It gives you a frame, but this frame and boxes do not limit you. It just tries to extract ideas out of you, because those are giving like extra questions. So think about what kind of things you can combine to create a solution, what you can eliminate from the final solution so it becomes something new, and so on. And it gives some kind of magnets that extract those ideas. And yes, there are existing methods like creative thinking methods, system innovation methods, game storming methods, design thinking methods, and we also create our own methods here in Latvia. For example, I will show quickly 2 of them, and later in the chat I will put also the links to those games so you can download them for free. For example, this is Greenapoly. It's a very simple game technique applied here, as you are rolling the dice, and here on the corners there are different kind of R's, what you can think about to create more sustainable ideas. So for example, we need to reinvent the ice cream again. So what to return, what to rethink, what to refit there to make it more sustainable, and so on. And just by rolling the dice, you will get a lot of ideas. And again, it is how science meets creative thinking methods, and we can make more sustainable ideas. Then the other one we have created is this idea circus. Again, based on scientific researches on the board. But the thing is, we have put a different kind of suggestions from scientific articles, how companies have found something innovative. And then by rolling the dice with your question, challenge, or product, you will see some kind of interesting turns. And then even if you, David, and you, Alan, will start with the same product ID, if you will go through this game with your own dice, you will get absolutely diverse and ideas. So a simple answer to your very difficult question could be use systematical methods. And when we'll use those, then you will discover that all people are creative, because it is very horrifying when someone said, oh, Elina, we have this question, immediately give some kind of ideas. I also feel like hedgehog in the fog. I don't have those ideas immediately. But when someone gives me those random words, Scamper, ID circus, Greenapoly, or other methods, it starts to trigger me, and ideas comes out, and I can write them down. I can tell those ideas, but otherwise, without methods, it's very hard to create ideas.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear what you've just said, because I was in a meeting recently, as I often am, with young people, and we talked about imagination and ideas and starting companies. And the question was, well, you have this great idea, but what do I do next? How do I proceed? And, I had to say, well, think about this. An idea is not an invention. An invention is not a product. A product is not a company. So you need a process, and you need people to help you think through what might be a wonderful idea. Now, David and I know a young lady in Finland who was a cell scientist, and she loved horses, and she had an idea. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could find a way to help horse breeders to breed better horses by using knowledge of DNA? That was an idea. And we started to talk about it, and further and further discussed it with other people and talked to horse breeders. And eventually she started a company. And that company has grown into a company that is now all about genetic engineering in animal welfare. So, but it was what you've said, it was an idea, but unless an idea is moved forward, it doesn't go anywhere. And it needs that kind of process. And the things that you're talking about, I've seen some of them because I've been in Latvia, and in Finland I've seen these games used too. But I think that Aalto University, they've used them. So please take note, all of those listening, that, you know, having an idea is great. If you want to turn it into something more than an idea, you have to work on it. You have to talk to other people. You have to use your imagination. Remember, Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. And of course,
that's absolutely true. And that's something that I try to teach in the first lecture for all my students in innovation classes, that idea and innovation is not the same thing. That idea is one part of innovation formula, and idea plus implementation plus value, that is innovation. Yes, implementation value.
I think that we do a lot of work these days talking about creativity and innovation. Creativity is the idea, but innovation is probably a number of processes different in each case. And it might be a whole succession of things that have to be achieved in order to make the idea into something real. And you know, one of the observations I have to make at this moment in time is that China has become the innovation lab of the world, because Chinese have found amazing ways of turning ideas into things quickly, like, for example, electronic vehicles. So innovation is processes. Ideas are things that we have to nurture and turn into something much bigger.
What I love
in China, they have really spotted some kind of magic for the processes, because what they are doing with implementation part is just magical. I was in April there for 3 weeks, and I spotted a lot of new processes, how they are managing innovations, and it was extraordinary.
David, yes, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, what I love about this is it just demonstrates that, you know, this process doesn't need to be boring. It needs to be fun, because it's that fun element that's also going to, you know, make us more creative, make those ideas flow, make us open up, and, you know, a bit like you did with the ice cream, you know, put me on the spot, you know, I have no problems with that, but it makes you kind of think very quick as well. And sometimes it's those people go, well, that's a bit silly, but there is nothing silly, because you come up with something and someone goes, yeah, but you've got something there. And all of a sudden, you know, this imagination just opens up and flows. So making it fun, making it engaging, making it different. You know, business should not be boring, is how I always think. We need to be courageous. We need to be brave. We need to think differently and be different as well. So this is fantastic. And you said you're going to share all this at the end as well. So if anyone wants to play, you know, these games, the two that you've just shown us, then they can download them, and I assume they just print them out and they can utilize them. So thank you for that.
Yeah. The other thing, Elina, that having worked with you over periods of time, you've spent a lot of time building your academic position and profile, and you've actually worked hard to get involved in not just to win awards, but to win a place in structured processes like the Fulbright Scholarship, which is an amazing scholarship based in the USA. What's driven you to do all of that? I mean, it's not just the ambition to say I'm a Fulbright scholar, but other people might be interested to know why you spend all that time to get those kinds of scholarships and to pursue the activity that follows.
I believe that also work and your growth should be like a game, and there is always a next level. And I don't have this like status quo where I feel very good. My status quo is growing all the time. So that's the reason why I always look for the next big opportunity. And when I reach that, it's not like, oh, I will celebrate, I feel so good. No, that is a moment when I start to Google what is the next big thing, what I can do, what is the next big deal that I could get, and so on. I need to grow all the time. It makes my life more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep up with you. Every time these moves take place, we have a discussion, and I'm always happy to support you. And the way you do it, I mean, the way you present yourself, and the amount of material you've got. I mean, anyone that wants to have a close look at all the papers that Elina's been involved in recent years, take at least a few days, because you're going to have to trawl through a lot of stuff. But you work so hard on this. I don't know whether you ever go to bed and sleep, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is brilliant, Elina. And one of the other things you mentioned, that you've just finished a paper about a week ago for the European Research Council as well. And picking up on lots of papers, but this is your latest idea, your latest creation. Can you give us a bit of an insight to what it is about and what the outcome you're hoping for?
That was research proposal. I submitted that, so I hope that maybe it could pass the first level of evaluation. That would be great, because those grants are pretty hard to get, and it is shooting for the stars and to the moon. And at least to get some kind of feedback would be very, very nice. And that research proposal was about these metaverse integrated idea management systems, how to create this absolutely new way of idea management. So that could change maybe the perspective how companies are looking at idea management at the moment. So, but of course, it's very contrasting, because people love like in-person idea generation things. I remember the time before the COVID, I researched those web-based idea management systems. I talked about them non-stop with the companies in academia, and nobody listened really before the COVID time. And then COVID time started. And then they said, okay, Elin, you told about something about web-based ID management systems where we don't need to be in the same room. Can you repeat what you said? And then they tried those methods in web-based ID management context. And at the end of the day, they said, but why didn't you tell us that it's so good? And that will provide so many good things for the company. And I think it will be also very, very hard for metaverse integrated idea management systems, because it's also something that we have never done. And it's not like people are applauding for all innovations and all these crazy new things. It's like not so familiar with the humans to try new things. So, and maybe it will be hard at the beginning with this metaverse integrated systems, but maybe it will become the status quo for us in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I've been privileged to see the proposal that Elina has made for this European job work project, David, and it is extremely detailed. And it reminds me that when you're either starting a research project or you want to start a company, when you really want to communicate something important and meaningful, it takes time. And the more and more I deal with, people starting up companies and with new initiatives, when I communicate with them, I don't know how you feel about this, David, but I have to take more time to be much more, it's not so much precise, but getting into all the issues and all the corners and digging everything out in order that you're going to do a thorough job when you're going to introduce a new process. So there are lessons here that, these very important moves forward don't come without sweat and energy as well as intelligence. You have to really work at them. And we did have a short discussion about that. I mean, the way they ask for the information from Elina is astonishing. I mean, it's all in a format that the block of text you have to produce is astonishing. And I think if you do get the word that you're going to succeed in that project, I think it will be great for Europe, and not just for you.
Elina, I've got to ask the question because we're talking about creativity, idea generation, AI. It's a hot potato. It's everywhere. And I'm going now. I'll be out meeting friends, having meetings with other businesses. I could be in Tesco's, our local shopping centre here, and I'll bump into someone, and all of a sudden AI will come up in conversation. It is just everything we talk about. Somehow it gets spun in there. AI. Is AI good for us? Now, I'm thinking about idea generation here, so you don't have to, but you're talking about maybe having AI in the metaverse and stuff like that helping. Is it going to dampen our creativity? Is it going to make us more creative? Is it, from your perspective, your opinion, is it good? Is it bad? What's the pros? What's the cons? What's your opinion?
So it depends how we are applying that. Again, there is a right and wrong way. So this is a question that all the students now asking. So why we need a creativity course? Because we can add all those ideas for AI. So, and then I say, okay, let's do the experiment. Let's open ChatGPT. Let's put the prompt, new ice creams, for example, and please one read all IDs, and now others, please mention IDs that are in your list that has not mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
Can they add more IDs to the first list? No. And then the question is, what is creativity? Creativity means that we have diverse IDs from other IDs. So if our IDs are the same with artificial intelligence, is this creativity? Not really. But of course, students need to get some right way, because otherwise it will be not good for the students. And then I start to tell them how to apply that in correct way, in which moments in in the innovation processes. For example, if we would like to get some kind of encouragement to create more ideas, because it is very hard to sit alone at home and discover something new. You need conversation, this intellectual provocation from others. But maybe the best idea is not just for AI, just give me ice cream ideas. We can try to do that by giving the ego for artificial intelligent friend. We did this experiment in Riga University 2 years ago. Soon there will be article about that in Springer book. The experiment was simple. There was one question where ideas should be generated by 5 humans and 5 different kind of artificial intelligence tools. In the first round, of course, ID quantity was skyrocketing for the artificial intelligence. For humans, the quantity was not so high, but quality was much higher. Quality means more diverse ideas from others. Then the second round was more intriguing, because same 5 human beings. And now for those 5 artificial intelligence tools, we gave egos. So they are not generating ideas just with their big language models, but we are giving like, please generate those ice cream ideas as a teacher. Please generate those ice cream ideas like engineer, and so on. And with those egos, then those ideas became more diverse. So, and in this round, it was like 50-50. But still, I believe that in our minds, there is this like pretty random association combinations that no algorithm will be ready to duplicate. So we have some kind of first rows in creativity as humans, but we should think how we can apply artificial intelligence in much more. This artificial intelligence egos is one thing. Then for the next rounds, for example, when we have those ideas, we need to start to visualize it. So it will take a long time for us to write and draw everything in details. We can ask for the first raw draft of this visualization for artificial intelligence, and then put in our own skills as humans for more advanced version of the prototype. So there is just right and wrong ways how to deal with artificial intelligence, but I think we don't need to eliminate that from the process. We just need to include in the right way, in the right moments.
Yeah, great
Yeah, I
answer.
think that's a very, very, very good answer. I'm talking to the professor of education in Cambridge, who I know very well, Professor Rupert Wegereff, about AI. People ask him, will it replace education? And he gives a talk on this, flatly saying that, of course, it won't replace education, but if it's used properly, it will enhance education. And he has told me many times, every day, he takes an hour to do his own talk with ChatGPT. He has his own discussion with artificial intelligence, and he raises questions with it, and he gets answers, and it helps him amazingly with his day. So, if you use it intelligently, then, I mean, he's a great believer in dialogue being the basis of learning, not the written word. I mean, he's a great guy. He says, well, people talking to each other is the best way for people to learn something. And I think we all agree with him on that. But it is true that it is so helpful. I mean, David, that course you and I did last year for leadership with Chinese students, that was the basic formula was generated in 5 minutes by ChatGPT, and we modified it. So as you say, Elina, it can save you time. It can cause you to think in the right direction. It can give you a structure on which you can build and flex. Very interesting.
And bear in mind, Alan, last year, not just ChatGPT, but other AIs were at kind of high school level last year. They're PhD level now. They're so much smarter and cleverer, but used correctly. I totally agree with you, Elina. It's about how you use it, where you use it. It's great to maybe throw some ideas at. It's great, as Alan has just said with your colleague in Cambridge, where he uses it maybe to get his day going, get some inspiration, to get things flowing. Well, we shouldn't go down the route, will AI take our jobs? Will AI change the world? Because we don't know what that answer looks like. Some people think it will destroy us. Some people think it will be, a great enhancement. I hope it's going to be the latter. It's going to be a great enhancement to human life, and we will just utilize it and be smarter because of it. Elina, we're coming to the kind of the wrap up here, and I'm going to ask my last question, then I'm going to hand over to Alan to kind of wrap up the conversation today. I always like to ask our guests one top tip that you can leave us with today. Just one thing from your whole life, your whole journey. It could be linked to idea generation, entirely up to you. But if one thing you want to leave our audience to go away and think about today, what would that be? One top tip as a takeaway.
Top tip, how to boost your creative potential. There are two variables. First thing, you need more associations, because we build all our ideas based on associations, and associations are built on all new things that we experience. So try new things, experience new knowledge, and so on. All new things, everything new will give you more association. That's like basics of ideas. And then the other side, the other variable is this synthesis. How fast our brains is synthesizing those associations together. And again, for our brains, it doesn't matter what kind of question we are solving, what we will eat in breakfast or new cancer treatment method. The process for our brains is the same. So you can try the synthesis with very simple thing. Just choose one activity that you will do every day in different versions. So open the door in different version, or make your coffee in different version, because it will train your synthesis. And there's one interesting story, very short one, from my student. She tried this, and I asked, what did you do? She said, every day I try to get out of the bed in different mode. I asked, okay, how many days? 139. Wow. Okay. Then the next question from my side, what kind of results did you spot it? First of all, in the first week, she noticed that also for other simple activities, brains start to offer different ideas. Let's go to the work through different routes. Let's make the coffee in different ways. So it became more intriguing to live for her. Then I asked, okay, but maybe for more advanced tasks, did you spot some kind of changes? And she said yes, because she worked in the bank, and there's this big quarterly meeting where there's a big problem, and then everybody should throw ideas. Previously, she had maybe one idea in the middle of the session, and it was not the chosen one, but now she had a first idea. Then after each colleague, she can add more and more ideas. She stopped counting after 15 ideas. But there's one side effect, because her colleagues asked what she has used that day, because it was absolutely other persona. But you don't need to use any kind of things, because creativity is simple. How many associations do you have, and how fast your brains could stick them together? And that's all. Try new things, and try one thing every day in different mode, and you will see the magic in pretty short time.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm going to try lots of different ways of making coffee every morning. I'm going to start with that one. Ask me in 130 odd days time how many different ways to make coffee I found, and I'll update you. Alan, I'm going to let you wrap up today's conversation, and well, it'll be no doubt another fantastic guest we're going to see next month. But over to you, Alan.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I hope everyone agrees we've covered amazing territory with Elina, and I've known her for longer than any of you have, or I think, unless there's anyone listening. But I want to really just hear you say a few more words about where you're going in life and what it is that really drives you and motivates you and what you hope to achieve. I mean, one of the very important things for you is that you're still a very young woman, and you believe, as I do, that women have a greater role to play worldwide in society than they have traditionally. But what is it? Do you have a dream that in 10 years' time, this is where I will be, or anything you want to say about what's going to drive you forward?
So I think my main driving force is to see how I could create the spark in organizations, spark in other human beings. So they discover the answer, oh my God, I'm creative. I have so amazing ideas. And when you see that in your students, in those company employees, it is a magic that is worth it to live for. And where I see myself, maybe in 10 years, my big dream, I have started my dream, because I said to my colleagues and friends, I have no dreams, I have just the plans. So, and last year I bought old mansion. It's 18th century mansion, pretty big one, in very bad condition, because I fell in love with potential of that building, because I saw these historical things and windows and everything else. And I had this quick inspiration moment that it could become like mansion of ideas, where people could come together, generate ideas 24/7. We can integrate all these games methods there in that building. When someone feels like exhausted without inspiration, they could go there in the middle of the night from Norway to Latvia to generate ideas, because they will understand there will be others that are open for ideation. There will be methods, there will be everything. So ready, steady environment for idea management. That's my dream. I welcome you after 10 years there.
Yeah, well, let me just respond quickly to that, because it's an amazing thing you've just said, because there's a lady in Cambridge, I don't know whether David knows her, Jeanette Walker. She worked years ago for the Regional Development Agency. Then she ran the Cambridge Science Park. And I know her very well indeed. And she's now no longer at the Science Park. And she said to me a couple of years ago, I have a dream. I want to find a chateau somewhere in Europe where I want to invite people who are struggling to find the way out for the things they want to do and their ideas. Now, I think, Elina, I'm going to introduce you to Jeanette, because she's doing something else at the moment, but she's a very clever lady, and a very dedicated lady, and a very broadly thinking lady. But isn't that an amazing thing? She had just a very similar idea that this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. She's not a married lady. She's got no family. This is where she wants to devote herself for the future. So for everyone listening, isn't it important to just think about how, when we talk to other people, when we network, when we make new connections, life opens new doors for us. And I think, Elina, you've opened some wonderful new doors for a lot of people today. And it's been great to hear them. And so we thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for this inspirational meeting, and also opening the next doors for me.
Well, thank you very much, Elina. It's been a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you for joining us and sharing all your knowledge and wisdom. And don't forget those games. Let us know how people can download those, and we'll get those shared with our audience as well. But that's it. That's all we've got time for today. We are back very soon, next month, with another great guest, another great conversation. Until then, it's bye-bye from me. And thank you very much to Professor Alan Barrell joining me here.
Thank you all. And of course, Elina, you and I will be in touch beyond today anyway, because we're working together. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, David, for a great session. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.